In this video, we'll be learning how to write recurring decimals as fractions. Now, the trick is going to be, throughout this video, to remember the following fractions. 1 over 9, 1 over 99, 1 over 999, 1 over 9,999, and so on and so forth. So these sort of special fractions in which the denominator only consists of nines. And as we're about to see, these are like the backbones of recurring decimals. And it's pretty neat. Let's get started. Let's say we want to write a number like 0.4444, in which the 4 keeps on repeating itself as a fraction. Well, the trick in this case is to see that there's only one digit which keeps on repeating itself, and that's 4. And because there's only one digit that's repeating itself, we're going to take the fraction from the list at the top here, which only has 1 9 on the denominator. So that's this first one here. And all we have to do to write this recurring decimal as a fraction is write the digit that's repeating itself over that fraction. That means that 0.4444 is just equal to 4 over 9. And there you go, it's that easy. To convince yourself of this, why not calculate that with a calculator? Type in 4 divided by 9, and it should give you 0.44444. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and say, if it doesn't, throw that calculator away, it's no good. Let's look at another example. Let's say I want to write 0.77777, and so on and so forth as a fraction. Well, again, looking at this, we can see that there's one digit which keeps on repeating itself, and that's 7. And because there's only one digit repeating itself, we're going to take the fraction, which only has 1 9, and say that this is 7 over 9. And again, type that in your calculator, you'll see it's going to give you 0.77777. Okay, so that's how we would do it for one digit which repeats itself. Let's see how to do it for more. Let's say we were given the number 0.12121212, and so on. Well, to write this as a fraction, the key thing we notice here is that in this case there are two digits which repeat themselves. That's 1 and 2. So because there are two digits, we'll use the fraction that we saw in the beginning with 2 9s on the denominator. So we're going to use 1 over 99. And the way we write this as a fraction is by writing the two digits that repeat themselves on top of this fraction. So what I'm saying here is that 0.12121212 and so on is equal to 12 over 99. And there you go. That's how we do it. And again, type that in your calculator and you'll see it's going to give you 0.12121212, etc. Which is pretty neat. In the same way, of course, we could have had another number with two repeating digits. Let's say 0.898989, and so on. And again, looking at this, we can see that there are two digits which repeat, 8, 9 all the way. And so we're going to choose the fraction with 2 9s on the denominator and simply write the two digits that repeat at the top. So that's 89. And actually, yeah, this recurring decimal is equal to 89 over 99. And by all means, check again with your calculator. So let's see, I'm sure you can guess, how to write decimal with more than two recurring digits. Let's say we had 0.472472, and so on. Well, in this case, we can see that there are three digits that keep on repeating. That's 4, 7, and 2. And they'll carry on repeating infinitely. So the fraction that we're going to use in this case, because there are three digits that repeat, we're going to use the fraction with 3 9s on the denominator. So 1 over 999. And we're going to use exactly the same technique as before. All we have to do to write this as a fraction is write the 472 on top of the 999s. In other words, we can write 0.472472, etc. is just equal to 472 over 999. And if you don't believe me, type it in that calculator, and you'll see it's going to give you that result. All right, now, let's look at one last example. Let's say we were given 0.4701, 4701, etc., etc., and we were asked to write that as a fraction. Well, in this case, again, we can see that there are actually 4 digits that repeat. That's 4, 7, 0, and 1. And they keep on repeating. But now, since there are 4 digits this time, we're going to use the fraction with 4 9s on the denominator. So we're going to use this one, 1 over 9, 9, 9, 9, with 4 9s. And using that same technique again, we can say that this is just equal to 0.4701, 4701, and so on, is just equal to 4701 over 9999. And once again, type in your calculator and you'll see that that's going to work. Now, I'm just thinking, I said this would be the last example, but actually there's one more thing I want to show you. A little trick. Let's say we were given this. 0.032, 032, 032, 032, etc., etc. And we're asked to write this as recurring decimal as a fraction. Well, starting in the same way that we did previously, we can definitely see that there are 3 digits that repeat. That's 0, 3, and 2, 0, 3, and 2, 0, 3, and 2. And so we're definitely going to use the fraction with 3 9s. In other words, one thing's for sure, we're going to be using 1 over 999. That's for sure. But now, we can't, the number 032 doesn't really mean anything. In other words, we can't write this, 0.032, 032, etc. Writing this doesn't mean anything. So be careful of that. That's not what we do in this case. Definitely no. In this case, when there's a 0, which is the first repeating digit, we just don't write it. Meaning to say 0.032, etc. Because the first digit here is a 0, we just write the remaining 2 digits over the 999. And so this would be 32 over 999. And there you go. That's how you write recurring decimals as fractions. Hope that helps.